Hey guys, here are 8 tips that we've used to not only sell out our retreats, but to do well enough to build our own retreat center. I'm actually sitting in my tiny home right now, parked on our 160-acre retreat center here. So tip number 1, pricing. If somebody gives a deposit, even if it's small, like 50 bucks to reserve their spot, they're actually 80% more likely to follow through and pay in full. And that's a lot nicer and a lot easier to say, hey, do you want to reserve your spot for 50 bucks versus, hey, it costs $2,000 or whatever your price point might be for the whole thing. Now, a high amount like that can startle somebody into immediately thinking, hey, I can't afford it. So they just, avert. But if you start with one commitment at a time, that's something small like 50 bucks as a reservation fee, it'll increase your bookings almost right away. Tip number 2, offer payment plans. Now, I have a couple tips with this, but the economy is pretty crazy right now. So we've just seen, we've seen rent prices double. We've seen people don't really have a ton of free cash, especially for depending on what type of retreat or workshop it is. And so we offer 3-month and 6-month payment plans. Without this, we would not have been as successful as we were with our retreats. Probably about half of our clients take a payment plan, but there's 2 main reasons that people don't like to do this. One is that they fear that the person might not pay them. So tip number 3 is how to work with that. So we use a service called gravysolutions.io. It is a failed payment service. So we use a payment processing system such as Stripe, for example, is a very popular one. And Gravy Solutions integrates with that. And they have special relationships with credit card companies, and they know all the insider info to make payments go through. And they will follow up with people to make sure that your clients honor their agreement to pay in full. So we've hosted hundreds and hundreds of people through our retreats and workshops, and we've only ever actually had one person that did not complete their payment plan. And that was actually before we started using Gravy Solutions. So that's a really good one. And then the other reason why someone might not want to offer payment plans is because you might need the money up front. And now the pro of having payment plans is that you have MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue. So within the first 3 months, we built our MRR up to about $12,000. So we know that we are going to be steadily paid for the next 3 to 6 months, which is pretty sweet because being a facilitator, educator, can be a bit of an up and down thing for people. We have a 3-tier system that we use for offering payment plans. And we give those options to people. So people comment on this all the time, and we explain in the course exactly how to do that. We essentially have a low ticket offer, a regular offer that's a fair price offer is what we call it, and then we have a rebalancing offer. So the low one is for people who it's all a trust thing, like we just let them choose, and people really resonate with this and like it because everybody's in a different financial situation. So if people aren't doing well financially, they're struggling a little bit, they get to take the low ticket access. If people are doing normal and they're not struggling financially, but they're also not necessarily very wealthy, well, then they can take the fair access. And if somebody has excess money that they'd be able to put towards it, then they take the rebalancing access, and that helps rebalance for the people who might not be able to afford the higher price. And it's an honor system. People have really, really enjoyed that. And we get a lot of really happy clients and really happy people with that. And it tends to actually rebalance itself, which is pretty nice. So tip number 4, now you can actually get the same amount of money up front if you attach upsells to your product. But first, I want to go over something because we're about to start talking about websites. And that's how we work with upsells, but in a particular way. But first, I want to give an example of somebody that I know, a good friend of mine, who she posted on Instagram, and she's like, hey, anybody out there that might be able to do me a website, I'm willing to pay and whatnot. And websites can cost a fair bit of money if you're willing to pay somebody for them. Sometimes people are charging thousands of dollars for that. So I just have a rule of thumb that if you cannot sell a retreat off a free Google document or over email to somebody, then a website will not help you. A lot of people, they might lack clients or whatnot, not know what to do with it. So they'll go out and they think that like getting a nice website is going to fix it. That's not the case, unless you're already selling well with something like a Google Doc. A Google Doc is like a Microsoft Word doc. And I just wrote that when we started, we had no following, we had no website. I just wrote out the details and whatnot on a Google Doc, and I would just send that to people just over, email or text or whatever, Facebook, whatever, and they would go through it. And at the end of it, we had a payment link, and they would just pay us, and that's how we did it with no websites at all. So this is getting into understanding how to frame your offer and what angle to take on it. So for example, we had a client that was running a workshop, and they were calling it something very vague like the gardening workshop, and it wasn't selling very well. Well, we want to get very specific and not vague. So for example, instead of just calling it the gardening workshop, you could say, okay, how to make $5,000 per month with a market garden and grow all your own healthy food. Well, now you're targeting a specific type of person. When somebody reads that, they're like, oh, I want that. I resonate with that. That's what I'm looking to do, is turn this into a full-time job. And I'm looking to grow my own healthy food. That aligns with me, right? Whereas the gardening workshop, that's just kind of vague. And it could be, maybe it's somebody that's going and gardening, but they're spraying pesticides all over their garden. That's a totally different type of person that would want to do that versus somebody that wants, the healthy food and is highly health conscious. Or let's say you're hosting a breathwork retreat. Well, Wim Hof style breathwork is more energizing and intense, whereas conscious connected breathing is a little bit more gentle and releases trauma. So each type kind of has its own outcome, its own like key thing that we're trying to target here. And both of those types of breath work might be better for somebody that is doing, in a different area of their journey or life. So, or looking for a different outcome. So we want to get really specific and call out our client's needs so that we actually attract somebody who wants that outcome. So we go way deeper with the program on exactly how to do that with a bunch of examples and help and whatnot. So yeah, that's one of the more like less tangible ones, because oftentimes people need some folks to like review it and let them know like how it feels when they're reading what the retreat's going to be about. So tip number 5, now let's get back to, if you're taking payment plans, which might lower your upfront income, we want to be able to make up for that. So you can actually have the best of both worlds. You can have the monthly reoccurring revenue, but you can also have upsells, which are going to increase your upfront income as well. So you have the best of both worlds. So upsells are actually 30% of our revenue, which is massive. We have a client that made $3.2 million with upsells. It's a unique situation, but he's a life coach and he hosts retreats, and then he upsells them into buying spots in his intentional living community in Costa Rica. Now he posted a screenshot in our group, and he was just random one day. He's like, of him hitting $1 million in his bank account. And obviously not everybody is building an intentional community and has casitas to sell off and things like that. I'm just saying how powerful upsells are, and I think that's a really creative offer. So, but not all upsells are like that. The industry average is actually, people are usually making around 5% of their revenue or less off of upsells. So normally people host a retreat or workshop, and then they'll either not have any additional offer for their guests, or they'll kind of like chase them around and ask if they want to do like some one-on-one work, or something like that after the fact. But now people are busy, they're distracted, they've gone back to their life. It's very hard to actually get those folks back in. So here's what we do. One, we use a funnel, which is exactly what you're about to sign up on if this resonates with you and you want to join us. So a funnel is basically a website. And when somebody signs up for your retreat or workshop, then right away, you're going to offer them an upsell of some sort. We'll talk about what those can be, and we'll give you some examples. So basically, the big thing with that is that it's a one-click upsell. And what this means is that you have, for one, you have your client's full undivided attention because they've just purchased. Now they're sitting on a web page, they are reading what you've written, or they are watching a video of it. You have their full undivided attention, which is very hard to get in an era of people being distracted and scrolling and, you know, all of that stuff, having their cell phones on them. So and this system, now that they've already paid for their retreat ticket, it has their credit card information anymore, or already. So now it's a one-click upsell, and that's super key. They do not have to, it's very, very low effort. They don't have to put their information in again. It's just a single click and it charges them and you move forward. So all they have to do is click one button that says, yes, I want this. It makes it super easy. So we use really emotionally captivating writing from our like real life experience. It's not just like, hey, buy this. It's like, no, like what connects with them, what feels authentic, what enhances our relationship with that person. And it's another chance to share our story and to relate to people. So we give you a template for all of this in the course so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And so it's fast and easy for you to get going, and how instructions and stuff and examples on how you can tweak that to suit all of your own stuff. But what are you going to offer them? So here's something that everybody can offer. There's a lot more ideas than this and stuff we'll walk through in the program, but here's 3 things that anybody can start doing right now. Tip number 6, 3 things that anybody can offer as an upsell. So a community, a VIP group, or a mastermind would be one. So you don't always have to be the sole entity that's creating and offering value to everybody. The community that you're building around yourself by hosting retreats and workshops is valuable in and of itself. People are very much lacking a sense of community right now. That's a large part of the reason why people want to come to retreats and workshops. So people will happily pay to be a part of a community where they get to keep those connections going long after the retreat. So a lot of people probably also want help integrating the information and the experiences from the retreat or workshop as well. So we call ours a VIP group. Ours costs $600 a year or $67 a month, and they get access to a VIP Telegram group chat and a Facebook group. You could also do like a call, like, you know, we do calls bi-monthly, twice a month. We do calls twice a month. So yeah, that's what we run right now, and it's really nice for the secured revenue, for the monthly recurring revenue as well. But I've also seen people charge $20,000 a year for this, so you can charge whatever you'd like. We just have a higher volume of people coming through ours versus versus like lower volume, higher ticket. So yeah, we want to make it affordable for folks. You could also offer one-on-one sessions as an upsell. It's a little bit more work for you. That's why I like to use the VIP thing. So if there's only one of you, you can serve a bunch of people at the same time, and plus offer them the additional value of hearing your answers for other people's questions and other people's general life experiences and scenarios. So it's better for everybody because it's more than the value of just talking to them one-on-one. It's the value of the group. Another thing that we upsell to is, after you're doing that work with people, we record all of those Zoom sessions, and then you can upsell the recorded videos of you actually doing that. Another good option for videos is actually recording what you're teaching or guiding in the retreats or workshops itself. So a virtual version of the retreat or workshop that you're hosting. And then that way they get to keep it for life, and they can come back and review the practices you went over or whatever it might be. For us, we'll give a videographer a free ticket to the event for them to come and do that, which is a really nice exchange for them to film and edit it and help you out with it. So now you have that for life. You know, you can do it once, and you can sell that an infinite amount of times. So now, after those tips, now you're selling more tickets with your payment options. You have secure monthly recurring revenue, and you're making more money up front with the upsells. But what if all of this just isn't feeling quite right? because I've been there. And tip number 7 is around your relationship with money. So I didn't really feel good about taking people's money for retreats. So I called our elder Vern. We're Shelby and I are status Indian, by the way. We're Ojibwe from the band Grassy Narrows in Ontario. And Elder Vern said to me, said back in the day, the person hosting circle and teaching was the wealthiest in the tribe. He said people valued it so much that they would bring their horse as an offering. Whereas nowadays, people will go stop by your local spirit store, crystal shop, or whatever, and they will just buy a $5 thing of sage that was imported from someone else, and they'll bring that. Culture and knowledge is dying because people aren't valuing it highly anymore. So we need to know our value so that we can pass our teachings on to more people. And money is not bad. Money is just a common denominator of value, which actually, in my opinion, makes trading a lot easier because you don't have to haul around things to try to trade. Back in the day, they traded tool for a piece of fruit. And then now you're having to haul that around. And what if somebody doesn't want your piece of fruit? It's just it makes trading actually abundantly easier. So the basis of that is that if you create value in this world and you learn how to communicate it to others effectively, money will flow through your life as a byproduct, and people will be very happy to do that exchange with you. And that's what we help with. So you probably have something very valuable already. We help you enhance that, communicate it so others can understand how valuable it is, and then broadcast that gift out to the world. And honestly, I think the world really needs it right now. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And also so you can feel proud of what you're doing, because the world does need it. And if you're moving through life with goodness in your heart and positive intentions, then that's all you can do. And that's way more than most people are doing. There are many people in the world that are not doing good, and they're intentionally not doing good. So you have that good heart, you have that good intention, and it's okay to spread that. What our clients are doing is that good stuff. Those are the clients we want to work with. If you're not doing something good, then we don't want to work with you. But I hope that you are. It's rare, it's extremely valuable, and it's very deeply good. So you should feel excellent. You should feel excellent about accepting a trade for what you have to offer. Now, tip number 8. So how do you find people for your retreats and workshops? Now, I personally prefer not to go looking for people like a needle in a haystack, but rather to become a magnet so that people come to us. I also personally want to set something up that's relatively automated. I don't really like social media. I don't want to spend my days making videos and posting stuff like on social media and just hoping that a video goes viral and hoping that I get clients from it. And then, maybe one day Instagram randomly decides to take my account down for no reason because I don't own it, and they do, and then I'm kind of screwed. I just want to have something set up that's more robust and is going to build something that I actually own. So how do we do that? One, we already talked about a funnel. You need to have a web page. That's basically what a funnel is. It's a series of web pages, and we will give that to you when you sign up for this course. We have the whole thing templated out in different templates for different types of workshops and retreats, so you can pick the one best suited to you. And then we have instructions on how you can tweak that to make it, make sure it suits your offer and customize it. And then 2, you need people to look at it. So that's called driving traffic to it. So traffic is just the eyes. It's just people looking at your page. So we need to get people to look at it. So our top 3 traffic sources are: 1, paid ads. So instead of creating and posting something on my social media profile every day, like most people do looking for clients, I make one image that takes me 20 minutes to make, and we'll give you these templates. And you get all of that with it. And I put $20 a day behind it as an ad, which I'll show you exactly how to do in the course as well. It's not hard at all. And I think about how long it takes, for people to create a reel on Instagram. It would probably take me an hour, and I have no idea if it's going to work or be a dud. So if my time's worth $20 an hour, it's way better to allocate that to an ad because I only do it once and set it up. It's fully automated. I don't need to do it every day. So you set it up once and you basically get clients while you sleep. Number 2 is our email list. So, in order to watch this video, you put in your email. So we have over 70,000 emails. So whenever we have a workshop or retreat or anything else, we basically just send a few emails and they all fill up. So an email list is a huge asset because it actually makes your business worth more money, or worth something in general. It makes me feel super secure because even if we stopped all other traffic sources, we could shut down our social media, we could shut down this page, we could shut down everything else that we do, and we could make $20,000 a month just from sending emails to our list, and we would be probably set for the rest of our lives. So once you hit that threshold with your email list, it's an amazing asset. Also, just really good spot for community. I like writing. People love to, feel the value and get updates from us and things like that. And number three is affiliates. So if you're scared to put money into ads, then affiliates are a great option. So you can partner up with people that have like-minded audiences on social media, or maybe, they have a website with an email list, and you can offer them a commission for any sales that you get or that they get for you. So this way you tap into someone else's audience while you're still building yours. And you only pay them after you get a client signed up, so you know that you have the money to pay them to do that, right? So basically the best good option, like social media and email lists are both impactful. I usually go for people that have email lists, and they if you align with them, they can send an email to their email list and they can send traffic to your web page. And when people sign up, then you give them a commission on that for helping you out with the marketing. So if all of this feels right to you, scroll down and sign up, and I will see you once you're inside. I'll walk you through all of this step by step and give you all of our templates, all of our done for you solutions wherever I can to make this as humanly easy as possible. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, as easy as humanly possible and as fast as possible for you, so that you can miss all the mistakes and mess ups that we had along the way. And hopefully, if you are interested in ever building your own center like we've been able to do using these methods, then we'd love to, hopefully see you here one day. You can come up for a physical hangout. There's also some free gifts available, probably, if the offer hasn't ended yet. So there's 3, but yeah, go check that out. We change those up now and then. I'm looking forward to seeing you inside.